Hello, I'm Alexis from BC Designer. In this video, I'll show you how to use the Strategy Execution Canvas to turn strategic ambitions into execution-ready objectives. Nowadays, everyone is trying to implement AI, and we often hear aspirations like, we want to implement AI in our sales process. That's a good example. In many organizations, teams experiment with different tools and build prototypes. But after some time, it becomes clear that no real value has been created for the company. So let's see how we can use the strategy execution canvas to turn this aspiration into a strategy that is actually creates value. Before we get into the details, let's have a look at what the canvas is about. In the top 4 sections, we capture the change aspirations of the stakeholders. 3 sections on the left help us understand the business context. 2 sections on the right make aspirations and objectives more specific by defining measurable indicators. And finally, the central section of the canvas is where we break down a complex objective into its components. Now, let's see how we can use the canvas in practice. We start by defining the key stakeholders behind this aspiration. During real workshops, this step is often the starting point for a deeper discussion about who is involved and what their needs are. In our example, we just name the most important ones: senior management, sales team, and customers. Next, we describe the current situation. In many companies today, AI initiatives are fragmented. Teams experiment with different tools, but these experiments rarely translate into clear value for stakeholders. Then, we define the desired future state, including the new behaviors and outcomes we want to see. In this example, the future state is simple. AI creates measurable sales value. Defining the current and desired future states gives us a solid basis for discussing how we work with stakeholders' aspirations. For example, we can select a concrete objective: improve sales lead management. To make it more specific, we break it down into improve lead qualification and improve follow-up personalization. Now the direction becomes clearer. At any point, we can pause the decomposition and think about our operational environment. For example, what risks are related to these objectives? One risk relates to lead qualification. If the data in the CRM system is incomplete or inaccurate, AI-based qualification will not work reliably. Another risk relates to AI-generated follow-up messages. If these messages are poorly personalized, they may negatively affect how customers perceive the company. Identifying these risks early helps us to design ways to mitigate them, and it also influences how we refine our goals and initiatives. Unlike a simple project where most factors are known, in the strategy domain we deal with many unknowns and uncertainties. We don't know for sure whether things will work out as expected. The canvas encourages us to consider the hypothesis, the assumptions behind the objectives. One way to formulate these assumptions is to ask, what must be true for this strategy to succeed? In our example, one assumption is that sales representatives will trust AI recommendations. If they don't trust the system, they simply won't use it. Another assumption is that better personalization will increase engagement with potential customers. And that's exactly what we are going to validate in practice. Now, let's get back to the decomposition and refine our goals further. For follow-up personalization, we define 2 sub-goals: improve personalization quality and enable human oversight. In this case, the human oversight goal directly addresses the risk of incorrect AI recommendations. For lead qualification, a key sub-goal is controlling lead data quality. Without reliable data, automated qualification cannot produce useful results. Now, we translate these goals into concrete initiatives. For example, we can improve data quality in the CRM through automated lead data enrichment. An AI tool can gather information about companies from different sources, such as company websites, press releases, or recent hiring announcement. To improve the personalization quality, the organization could identify best practices from the previous sales conversations. To enable human oversight, we introduce review controls in the CRM system. The goals and initiatives are defined, but are we ready to execute them? In some cases, the only thing we need is time and budget. In other cases, we might need to build supporting business systems from scratch, facilitate training, or improve business architecture. Each of these changes can be formulated as a separate strategic ambition using another canvas. For our example, let's simply identify the capabilities required. We would need tools for AI-driven lead data enrichment and clearly defined ideal customer profiles. Finally, we move to metrics. When defining metrics, it helps to distinguish between leading indicators and lagging indicators. Leading indicators show that we are moving in the right direction. Lagging indicators confirm the business impact. For example, one assumption is that sales representatives will trust AI recommendations. This relates to improving personalization quality. But trust and quality are abstract concepts. To make them more concrete, we define metrics. We could track the recommendation acceptance rate. This shows how often salespeople accept AI suggestions. It is a leading indicator of adoption. To validate the business impact, we look at the lagging indicators, such as lead response time and lead processing costs. These metrics confirm that the sales process becomes more effective. For the second assumption, that personalization increases engagement, we might track the follow-up conversation rate. If personalization works, more prospects should respond. Ultimately, this should translate into a higher qualified leads conversion rate. And this is exactly the metric that shows that AI creates real value in the sales process. The canvas is not a box-filling exercise. The real value lies in the discussion that happens along the way. That's where teams clarify meanings, build alignment, and improve the overall strategy. If your canvas is not perfect on the first attempt, don't worry. That's exactly how it's supposed to work. So how did the strategy execution canvas help? In this example, we started with a vague strategic aspiration, improve sales productivity with AI. Using the canvas, we looked at this aspiration from different perspectives and converted it into an execution-ready strategy with clear reasoning, measurable goals, and concrete next steps. How can you start using the canvas? Download the free template and try it with your team in your next strategy discussion. We also provide a free facilitator guide that explains how to run a one-day strategy workshop using this approach. These sessions usually generate a lot of ideas. Afterwards, you can continue working on the strategy in a digital tool such as BC Designer, our strategy execution platform. If you need support running a workshop, our team can help facilitate it. Now it's your turn to use the canvas and make your strategic plan execution ready. Thank you for watching.